Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today for the Fitchburg Star, our star, Kimberly. Welcome back. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing all right.
Are you sure? Because, there's still time to put that tree away quick before we get going here.
See, I'm going to out myself here really quick and tell all of the viewers of Fitchburg that my current record for keeping a tree up is March 23rd. So, and at one point, this was back in 2020, I told myself that I wasn't going to take my tree down until COVID was over. And then I very quickly gave up. So let's see if we can
March 23rd, in fact, she gave up.
It only took 10 days for me to realize that this was more than I thought it was. But so let's see if we can beat it.
Oh boy. We'll go ahead and get you a green screen for the next episode of our update. But we will get to the update because we do have a lot to get to. And we're going to start this past week. Committee of the Whole had talks not only about the investment plan, but talking about the hub, kind of a good overview of what's happening. So take us through that meeting.
Yeah, so I will quick do a blurb here on the ARPA spending / investment plan. They talked about a bunch of different amendments. It was very clearly getting late in the meeting, and I think people were kind of looking to wrap up. So there wasn't a whole lot of discussion on the amendments. There was a lot of amendments that were introduced. One of, I think, 3 alders introduced amendments. It was District 2 alders, Gabriella Gerhardt and Julia Radafrada, and then District 1 alder, Dave Earps, and then I think Joe Maldonado also submitted a few. So it's mainly the District 1 and District 2 alders that submitted things. And so there was a little bit of discussion, but not a whole heck of a lot. We're going to see more discussion on that during the public hearing and the final vote on March 22nd. So for people who don't know, it's going to be kind of conducted like a budget meeting, but there's certainly going to be less restraints where the budget meetings are very strict with time limits and all that kind of stuff. And so we're not sure if there's going to be the same kind of time limits, but the process will go very similarly. So keep an eye out for that. And if you have any opinions, Jeremy, we can see that on the finance section of the website, correct?
Fitchburg.wi.gov, if you, in case you're wondering, and those videos are posted as well from the meeting. And yeah, that is a 30,000 foot view, as Misty from the finance department talks about. So, but yes, we are anticipating it to play out like a little bit like budget coming up on the 22nd. So there is that. How about that hub talk?
Yeah, so the hub is, for people who don't know, that is a community park that is planned for the north and south sides of Traceway Drive, sort of near the Nine Springs golf course. With some of the inflationary costs we've been seeing in the construction industry the last few years, the price for that has jumped nearly $300,000. So, and then there's been a new aspect added to the design that would also cost an additional $1.5 million. So they presented the designs to the council during the committee of the whole, and then city planner or city community planner Wade Thompson walked through, here's what your options are. We could either find more funding and keep things the same, keep the integrity of the design. You could keep the integrity of the design the same for phase 1, but you could split it into a couple different phases. They could change the integrity of the design of phase 2 and maybe take some money from there. So there's a lot of different options for the council to consider. The baseline here, though, is that the hub is more expensive than what they first predicted back in April 2020. So that discussion will also be held on March 22nd. So we're looking at a pretty big meeting here to figure out kind of some directions in the city's future. So if you're interested in seeing, the nitty gritty of the city, that's a really good meeting to watch.
Yeah, and it's cool. I'll say this, like it's a neat design. There's a lot of planning that's gone into it. I mean, this has been in the works for a long time, so it's not like this new thing. There's been a lot of community input on it, and whatever comes out of it, it's going to be a great thing to have up there in that neighborhood. Let alone just in Fitchburg, it's going to be a pretty cool park at that. Turning our attention to talks of Traceway Drive apartment. And a little plan commission update, if you will. We're jumping all over the place.
Well, actually, we're not jumping that far. This is right next door to the hub. So we're geographically staying about the same area. So a little bit of background, EJ Plesko and Associates is looking to build a 178 unit apartment and townhome construction project on 5.3-ish acres of land on Traceway Drive that currently does not have anything on it other than a shed. And so they're looking to do an infill project. So what happened at council this week is, so they ended up getting approval for a rezone, which is only one step in a pretty lengthy development process. So, you know, getting a rezone does not mean that everything is approved and they're going to start putting shovels in the ground tomorrow. No, this is just a step forward in the process. Earlier last week, though, the vote to recommend this to the council was pretty narrow. Some of the concerns that commissioners brought up is they'd like to see townhomes in the project be like home ownership opportunities for people. And then the sole older at the Common Council meeting this last Tuesday, his main opposition is he felt that because EJ Plesko owns so many properties, that company rents to 10% of all Fitchburg residents. So it's not an insignificant piece. Jay Allen wanted to see more development, more planning for the development done so that you don't just fill in pieces here and there nilly-willy. So, but it did get approved. The rezone did get approved 7-1. The Plan Commission did recommend it on a pretty narrow vote of 4-3. So again, this is not the end all be all for this project. It's just one piece. So oh my goodness, conversations will continue with this project. And I'm just making up words over here like William Shakespeare. That's fine.
If you've watched Talking Fitchburg, you would know I have a list longer than ever, so don't worry about that. Quickly, we have a little bit of time left. Do you want to get to the mask? There are changes in the masks coming here from our school districts. Quickly, what do you know on that front?
Yeah, so if you are a Verona area school district resident or you are an Oregon school district resident and your children go to those schools, masks will be optional starting March 1st. While they'll be optional, the districts, both of those districts are strongly encouraging people to continue to wear them as part of a mitigation strategy, but it will be up to students and families' choice. For Madison Metropolitan School District families, they are going to remove the outdoor masking requirement, and they're also going to create an exemption for students who are playing sports, for example, or performing, where they will not have to be masked. But if you are a coach or a spectator at a game, for example, you will need to be masked indoors. So Madison Metropolitan is going to review its indoor mask policy in the next couple of months here, looking mainly in mid-March, and then they want to see what's going to happen after spring break. But so that is something that can be anticipated. But it is possible that students in Madison Metropolitan could be wearing masks throughout the rest of the year. So that one's a little bit of a toss-up, but Oregon and Verona area, masks will be optional March 1st. So.
All right. Well, Kimberly, I appreciate the time. Sir, we couldn't keep you longer here, but we'll make sure that we get caught up with you in a couple of weeks. Till then, enjoy the rest of that tree, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, I'm going for the world record here. My own personal world record.
Kimberly. We'll leave it at that. Hit up the website and stay up to date with our newsletter. More. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talk to Fitchburg. I almost said it's our star and tree hugger.